Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Roundup.
We've had an exciting few weeks here at MTA covering the Ijtemas here in the UK with Hazur Aqdas's live addresses, haven't we, Jangir?
Yes, by far, and I think the main highlight for me was definitely last weekend where Zul graciously attended the Khuddam and Atfal Ijtema, and we'll be giving you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the Ijtema later on in the programme. But as always, before we start, let's take a look at the headlines from around the world. The United Nations General Assembly is meeting for its 76th session in New York this week. Climate change, COVID-19 and security are the main themes discussed so far in a week of speeches by heads of states. COVID-19 vaccines began to roll out to healthy 12 to 15-year-olds in England and Scotland. They will be offered one dose of the Pfizer COVID jab to keep COVID cases down and keep kids in school. A volcano has erupted in Spain's Canary Islands off northwest Africa after a week-long build-up of seismic activity. Although no injuries to people in the area were expected, the lava was moving in two streams and some 20 isolated houses have been destroyed. Fossil hunters discovered the oldest and perhaps the strangest remains of Ankylosaurus known to date from a site in the Middle Atlas Mountains in Morocco. The discovery was so unusual that scientists wondered if the fossil was a fake, but a CT scan found no signs of tampering. The European Union proposed new rules that will make USB-C ports standard on smartphones, tablets, cameras, phones, portable speakers, and handheld video game systems. The move is a setback for Apple, which uses its own Lightning port on the iPhone. England has pulled out of its tour to Pakistan next month, just days after New Zealand cancelled its tour due to what it said was a security threat. England's men and women were set to play in Rawalpindi in mid-October.
As Muslims, we have various holy days such as Eid, but for Jews around the globe, one of the holiest days is Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur is observed on the 10th day of the Jewish calendar month, and it's a day marked by prayer and fasting.
We head over to Kabir to find out more about how Jews around the globe observe this holy day.
My name is Amat Subuh from Kabir. The holiest day of the year in Judaism. Its central themes are atonement and repentance. Jews traditionally observe this holy day with a day-long fast and deep prayer, often spending most of the day in synagogue services. The Torah calls the day Yom HaKippurim. Traditionally, Yom Kippur is considered the date on which Musa alayhi salam received the second set of 10 commandments. It occurred following the completion of the second 40 days of the instruction from God. Yom Kippur is a legal holiday in Israel. There are no radio or television broadcasts. Airports are shut down. There is no public transportation, and all the shops and businesses are closed. جزاكم الله أحسن الجزاء والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah for the report, Amat Sabur. I really learnt a lot which I didn't know about before. Last Friday, beloved Zul, may Allah be his helper, delivered his Friday sermon from the Mubarak Mosque in Islamabad.
Let's find out more with our regular Friday sermon summary.
Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. As you know, our beloved Hazur, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Aslihil Aziz, has been delivering his Friday sermons regarding the companions of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Last Friday, Hazur continued to speak about Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, the second Khalifa of Islam. Did you know that Hazrat Umar was given the title Al-Faruq by the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, meaning one who distinguishes between right and wrong? Hazur mentioned Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu's visit to Jabiya and Jerusalem. Hazur, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz, said that Hazrat Umar went to Bayt al-Maqdas. As Hazrat Umar arrived, he was dressed very modestly. The Muslims were worried about what the Christians would say, and so they offered him some valuable garment to wear. Hazrat Umar said that the honor of Islam which had been given to them is more than enough. The Christian priests handed over the keys to the city to Hazrat Umar. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu took a tour of the Bayt al-Maqdas, and when it came time for prayers, the Christians offered for him to offer prayers there. However, Hazrat Umar said he had feared that if he did so, the Muslims would take this place to be sacred for them and would then try to take over it. So, Hazrat Umar went outside and offered the prayers. Hazur also mentioned an incident of Hazrat Bilal radiallahu anhu. Hazrat Bilal was the first muazzin in Islam, the person who recites the adhan. Hazur said that while in Elia, people requested Hazrat Umar for Hazrat Bilal to call the adhan, the call for prayer. Hazrat Bilal said that he had vowed after the demise of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that he would never call the adhan again. However, since Hazrat Umar had asked him, he agreed and called the adhan. This reminded everyone there of the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and showed the obedience Hazrat Bilal radiallahu anhu had for Khilafat. To hear all the narrations mentioned and more inspiring incidents, please make sure you watch the full Friday sermon with your family. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah for the summary, and as always, we encourage you to watch the whole Friday sermon, which is available online.
Now, in political news this past week, Canada held its elections. We'll go to our correspondent in Canada to give us the full coverage on who won and what we can expect in the coming years.
Wait, I can't even vote, and this is not a real ballot box. But 16.9 million Canadians can, and they did in the recent snap elections on September 20th, 2021. Who won, you may ask? Well, it was the same guys, but they didn't get a majority government, only a minority one, like last time. Okay, boss. Liberal Party, majority government, snap elections? What does that even mean? Let's rewind and find out.
New session of Canada's Parliament opens in Ottawa.
No, not that far. In Canada, we usually have elections at least every 4 years. But the Prime Minister has the power to call a snap election at any given time before the scheduled election date. In this case, the elections were supposed to happen in October of 2023. But our current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who has a minority government, chose to call an early election whilst his public ratings were high in hopes of winning a majority government, thus having greater influence and control when passing laws. Canada is divided into 338 electoral districts called ridings. Candidates, or people representing different parties, run in each riding, hoping to get the most votes. There were 6 major parties in this year's election: the Liberals, Conservatives, NDP, Bloc Québécois, PPC, and the Green Party. The winners represent the people in the ridings at the House of Commons in Ottawa. They're called Members of Parliament, or MPs for short. The party that wins the most ridings across all of Canada forms our federal government in Parliament Hill, and their leader becomes the Prime Minister. But this is where it gets a little bit complicated. Stay with me. If a party wins more than half the ridings, known as seats in the House of Commons, they form a majority government. If they win less than half the seats, but still more than any other party, they form a minority government. That's a win for those other parties, because they can work together and block a minority government from passing laws they don't agree with. So, in the recent elections, the Liberal Party did win, but they can only have a minority government. So what does this mean for Canadians? Well, not much really. Since it's the same Prime Minister and same party forming our government, it means business as usual, for the most part. Besides the typical campaign promises that will hopefully help Canadians and his ratings for the next elections, considering that there are no term limits for how long a person can be the Prime Minister of Canada. I'm Holiest Ahmed, reporting from MTA International Canada Studios.
For today's In Focus, we travel far east to the country underwater.
Wait, what? I've never heard of this before.
Well, Bangladesh is 75% underwater, which is why it's called a country underwater.
Wait, I guess that's why fishing is such an important part of their lives. Let's find out more.
Bangladesh is known as the world's largest delta. Due to the riverine silt, the fertile land is one of the densely populated country. Here many rivers, artificial lake, haor are spread like net, which are unimpeded fish resources and about 5% of Bangladesh's gross national product. A large population is directly and indirectly dependent on these fishery resources for livelihood and nutrition at Nikli Haur in Kisharganj district, which is situated northeast of the capital Dhaka. This haor is one of the sources of rich fish stocks of native species. Fishermen use different types of nets and special wheeling techniques and various tools made with indigenous technology to catch fish in the monsoon season. Along with the vessel net in the middle of the haor with push nets and nets that grow hundreds of cubits long, various species of freshwater fish including sand, tangra, bine, air, taki, putti, shoal fish, etc. are caught by numerous fishermen who stay in the haor all day long. Professional fishermen meet the demands of their families and then they sell it in the local market.
মাছ পাওয়া যায় আপনার আর বোয়াল বড় রুই বাইম গাওরা বাসা চিংড়ি
হাওর টানে দইরা নদীর টানে দইরা বিভিন্ন জায়গাতে হাওরের মাছ ছাড়া তো আমার এলাকাতে আর কোনো মাছ নাই।
নদীর পাড়ে বাড়ি আমরা সবসময় টাটকা, এই তো টাটকা মাছ কিনলাম এখন, সবসময় টাটকা মাছই খাই, যেটা আপনারা অনেক সময় খেতে পারেন না।
Balikhola fish market becomes crowded in the early morning. Bargaining is going on between sellers and buyers. The fishes are sold at wholesale prices and are being transported in steel boxes under ice cubes in different markets of the country.
আমরা সচক্ষে দেখে আমরা বিশ্বাস করতে পারি যে এখানে হাওরের মাছ এবং এই মাছগুলি আমরা খেয়ে খুব টেস্ট পাই।
দাম আপনার রেটও আপনার কম আছে, রেটও কম আছে আপনার। আর এই বাজারটা আমরা বিশেষ করে আমরা নতুন পানি আছে এই তো মাছ বেশি।
The market becomes bustling with buyers and sellers in broad daylight.
Rice and fish make a Bengali, a well-known proverb we hear frequently. Bangladesh is a riverine country where fish is one of our favorite foods. Fish plays a vital role in the development of our economy.
We're going all the way around the world to land right back here, just a few miles away from Islamabad.
That's right, Jangir. You all know that the UK Khuddam and Atfal held their Ijtema last week, which Hazure Akdas graciously attended.
We've got an exclusive behind-the-scenes look that you really don't want to miss.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the National Ijtema UK 2021. This is the first National Ijtema for Khuddam and Atfal for 2 years. Due to COVID, restrictions have been put in place, such as wearing face masks, social distancing, and children under 12 will not be permitted to attend. At this year's Ijtema, there's plenty of activities for Atfal and Khuddam to get involved in. There's the academic competitions, which include Hifz Quran and prepared speeches. There's also the sports competitions, which include football and the always enjoyable tug of war. One of the regular features in the Ijtema in the past few years has been the hub. As you can see, there's so much going on. There's auditions, there's games, there's talks, and even the famous Hub Cafe. One new feature this year is an exhibition for Sayyid Talib Ahmed Sahib Shaheed. And this is the Discovery Zone, where young Atfal can enjoy themselves and have some fun. There's activities such as the Amr Academy, the delicious-looking MasterChef competition, archery, sprints, and so much more. In this Ijtema, also present are presentations from the army as well as review of religions and humanity first. But the highlight of this year's Ijtema, by far, is beloved Hazur gracing us with his presence and delivering an inspiring address to us.
All Khuddam and Atfal should recognize that they are of great value and that each Ahmadi is a precious member of the Jamaat of the Prophet Messiah Islam. Nevertheless, this value is not to be taken for granted. Rather, it can only remain intact and be justified if you recognize that each of you has a role to play in upholding the dignity of the Jamaat of the Prophet Messiah Islam.
I loved Hazur's address, and it had been like many years, and we haven't been able to see him personally with our own eyes, and we have been watching his Friday sermons through the TV.
I really enjoyed this Ijtema. It was really fun, and seeing Hazur after a long time was a really good feeling.
To get to see Hazur after 2 years, it gives you an opportunity to revive your spirituality, and also to come to an Ijtema at the actual site is better than the virtual rallies.
By the grace of Allah, this Ijtema has been a huge success, and I've had lots of fun. I hope and pray that we can keep having Ijtemas every year.
Time now to find out what you, our viewers, are thinking about the news and the features that we've brought to you today.
Justin Trudeau is our honorable Prime Minister. He generally supports individual rights, including civil rights and human rights. He gave freedom of speech and freedom of religion. He promotes lots of communities and culture. He is working hard to keep our people safe, united, and making our country a peaceful place to live.
I think that most Canadians were against having this election. It cost $600 million and was held during the fourth wave of a pandemic with the Delta variant spreading. All of this for almost the exact same results as last time.
Remember to keep an eye out on our new social media at Roundup MTA on Twitter and Instagram for a preview of our topics so you can have a chance to be featured.
That's all we have time for now. Make sure you send us your comments and feedback to roundup@mta.tv or on Twitter and Instagram at roundupmta.
Keep watching, tell your friends, send us your comments and story ideas. We want to share your stories and videos.
Until our next episode, Assalamu alaikum.